Welcome to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called Budget Cuttings. I worked a job that required a lot of travel, like cross-country flights. The company policy stated that you only got paid for travel between the hours of 8 and 5. But everyone wanted to get home and see their families, and there was always a lot of work to do. So it was never ever questioned if you worked all day, then charged the travel for a late night flight so you could be home and show up to the office/work the next day, as long as you didn't do something crazy. Well, one day, a manager blew our budget. To shave some pennies and save face with accounting, he rejected travel hours for someone who traveled after 5 retroactively without telling the employees to follow company policy. This person's paycheck took a hit, and needless to say, he was not happy, since he had been asked to travel after hours to begin with. Now there are many managers and many employees, and the employees talked. Turns out the whole department decided to go union style on them. If one manager could do that, all could do it, if accounting pressured them. We all agreed that we would simply follow policy and only travel between 8 and 5. Sounds simple, right? The implication of adhering to the policy while not working for free is that sure, the hours are the same, but other managers lose time in the office. More importantly, on one or both ends of a business trip, people would need to book an extra day of hotel, rental car, and all the associated meals to stay within company policy. Those hadn't been budgeted by management on all upcoming work. The end result, of course, is that this would cause all the other managers to lose money unnecessarily. The company was forced to announce they would no longer enforce that policy, and they retroactively approved the employee's hours and paid him. This took about a day to have the desired effect. The mere threat of this by the employees caused all the other managers to freak out. To be honest, most of the managers didn't agree with the policy to begin with. It was a corporate thing, and everyone knew that manager who did that was a jerk. All our time and travel are billed to clients anyway, so there's literally no downside to letting employees travel after business hours and paying them. The same company tried to not reimburse my business travel expenses for my last 2 months of working there, because I no longer had an employee ID, so they couldn't send me a check. Those expenses were surely billed to the clients, and they tried to just pocket that money. Funny how with the right kind of pressure, that money got direct deposited. The next story is called Until Lunchtime. My friend used to work in finance for a company that generally treated him pretty poorly. He was paid far less than he knew the company could afford and was generally overlooked. They had home working for a while because of it, and then were allowed to come back to the office 3 days a week, working from home 2 days. Whilst working from home, my friend loved missing the commute. Being an early riser anyway, he decided to ask his boss if he would be allowed to start work at 7 AM and finish at 3 PM so as to get to and from work quicker. The office was open at the time anyway. This was okayed, and so he started to work 7 AM to 3 PM, which he then extended to his work from home days as he enjoyed having his late afternoons free. Now, so that everyone was available at the same time, lunchtime at the company was set at 1 to 2 PM, no leeway. One Friday, my friend wanted a half day to begin the start of a long weekend. Because he would usually finish work at 3 PM, he asked if the half day for him could be earlier, around 11 AM, since he would be putting in more hours before lunch than anyone else. No, he was told. Half days means finishing at lunch. So he had to work from 7 AM to 1 PM, 6 hours, despite it counting holiday-wise as a half day. This annoyed him for obvious reasons until he found a great benefit to this. Working from home on Fridays, he started booking mornings off work, meaning he didn't have to work until 2 PM. Then he worked for 1 hour from home, and that was it. His colleagues thought it was genius. His boss had very firmly told him that half days revolve around lunchtimes, so couldn't do anything about it. So my friend enjoyed a few months of practically doing no work on several Fridays for the cost of a half day at a time. This lasted until he eventually left the business and moved on to a job where he was treated a lot better. The third story is called No Work From Home. I'm an educator, educational specialist, and my district has been allowing some people to work from home all this year, so they would not have to take sick days. Well, this January my child was sick, so I asked if I could take 2 work from home days instead of sick days because my position would allow for that. I was told in no way was that going to be possible, because they are not doing that anymore and I have to take sick days. I told them that it would be absolutely perfect for me to work from home, because I wasn't having classes that week anyway and I could get all my paperwork completed over the next 2 days. We also have our office phones set up on our laptops, so I would be able to take phone calls from home as well. This would cost my district zero money to allow. Nope, still denied. I maliciously complied. Being that I was not allowed to work from home, I sent an away message on my email and voicemail. Since this school district no longer allows its employees to work from home, I will be out with a sick child. I have taken my own personal sick days to take care of him over the next couple of days. I will be returning emails and voicemails upon my return. I did not answer my cell phone from coworkers or bosses. I ended up being out for 3 days, and there were some major issues at work that could have been cleared up in about 30 seconds, if only I was allowed to work from home. On the bright side, not working from home allowed me to have a really great time with my child. It also allowed me to come to the realization that school districts don't really care much, and this is why we are all so burned out. The next story is called Accurate Timesheets. In the commercial construction world, the management team on site are generally all salaried employees of the general contractor. Superintendents, assistant superintendents, safety officers, quality control inspectors, etc. Generally anyone in the job trailer. 8 hours a week or 80s. Our checks are the same every time. I'm a senior superintendent, and part of this role is ensuring that timesheets are filled out correctly, that individual expense reports are completed, and that we've got adequate manpower from laborers to tradesmen. About 6 months ago, we had a superintendent meeting at our office. Nothing new, we do this every month. However, one of the things that were discussed happened to be timekeeping. We were told that our timesheets have to reflect 8 hours a day, regardless of how long we are actually there. And they have to be sent in no later than 9 AM on Monday, or checks will be withheld or late that week. To me, the timesheets have always seemed redundant, because our checks don't change. We usually look at an app we are required to download that clocks us in and out automatically, according to our location, relative to the site. Everyone always rolls in around 6:30 AM, even though the day doesn't start till 7 AM. Most of us are there until 4:30 to 5:30 PM. It is just the nature of the beast with $200 million projects. We get gates and doors open early for subcontractors, get set up for the day, and we are ready to go. This timekeeping guideline was reiterated several times through emails, so I decided it was only right that we comply. I have 2 assistant supers, a superintendent number 2, 2 safety officers, 2 quality control officers, and 2 admin assistants in the job trailer. That's 10 in the trailer, counting myself. I also have a 12-man laborer crew, 14 carpenters, and 2 trade foremen. That's 38 timesheets altogether, and 13 expense reports, along with random mileage reports. 51 plus individual reports altogether. That is just one project. The entire company has around 40 projects running right now. If you have used Outlook, you know that you can schedule emails to be delivered at a predetermined time and date, so here's what we did. We all, 38, meet in a parking lot about a block away from the site. Our apps clock us in when we pull into the job site. At 6:55 we all pull out and arrive on site at 6:56 to 7, and then unlock the gates. At this point there are roughly 200 other tradesmen standing there with tools or sitting in their vehicles waiting on walk gates to be opened. Once they are opened, these guys go to any of the 17 floors in the building, waiting for turns for a very slow hydromobile construction elevator. By the time they are set up to work, it is easily 8 AM. At 3:30 PM, the walk gates are locked and all personnel has to be out of the building inside. So they are all rolling up around 2:45 in order to be offsite by 3:30. This reduces production from about 7 hours a day down to around 5, or approximately 500 man-hours of production per day. I also had our assistant super start scheduling timesheets and report deliveries, 1 every minute, from 8 AM until 9 AM on Monday mornings. From what I hear, other senior supers I told about this began doing the same type of thing. The loss in production and the annoying chime of new emails every minute had their new guidelines squashed in 3 weeks. Overtime was approved for hourly employees and Saturday work was approved for subcontractors. This way we could get back on schedule and make up for the approximately 7,500 lost man-hours of production just from our project alone. When asked about it, I simply stated that I was following instruction precisely as it was given. And that was the end to all that micromanaging. The last story is called Just Take the Train. This took place a few years ago. I was in a role that required constant travel between offices, so I was provided a car. One day I was told by my manager that I was going to be working in a single location for an extended period and therefore had to give up the car. This wasn't my home office, so I'd be reimbursed for travel costs. And, crucially, any time spent traveling over the normal commute going to your home office would be considered time spent at work. Hey, no problem, happy with this. So I asked my boss for a parking spot for my own car, as spaces were limited. There was no other parking nearby, and most importantly, there were no public transport links between my home and office location, so it would take a long while to get in. Sorry, no can do, just take the train, we'll give you the tickets. Okay, boss, if you are sure. So, making sure I took my book and headphones, I took the train as instructed. 3 separate trains later, and I arrived at the office just before lunch. Boss was horrified but couldn't say anything when I showed him the route I had to take. Their face was a picture when I told them I would have to leave shortly, as it was the same journey home. I was paid for nearly a full working day on the train reading my book, and my boss couldn't do anything about it. Needless to say, I got the car back the next day and a space to go along with it. And with that, we end today's video. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories and today's video? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. And I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.